Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Kate Beeders, and I'm excited to be here with all of you. Happy New Year. Got a really exciting topic for you today. Many of you probably have been seeing all over Facebook or all over the news the whole big thing about Mariah Carey, right? And not to pick on her, because that's actually not what I'm doing. I know everyone else is slamming her and making fun of her and all this kind of stuff because of the lip sync. So that's not what I'm talking about, but I am going to challenge you to think about how this type of thing is happening in your business. So if you have not seen the news or not been on Facebook or not paid any attention, maybe you're not a big Mariah Carey fan, that's okay. I want you to just hear the story because I want you to think about how often this might show up in your business because it's so critical. So again, good morning if you're joining me. I'm Kate Beeders, and I'm going to ask too that if you really get something out of this short live stream, and I hope you do, please share it with your community. So what happened in a nutshell, and I'll confess I didn't watch it live. I just saw the videos and stuff on Facebook and all that. Is that Mariah Carey was due to perform on Dick Clark's productions for the new year, and what happened is I guess she was one of the top performers right before it was supposed to turn into midnight into 2017, and it turned out she was lip syncing. And there was a technical difficulty, and understand this is being seen not only live but in front of millions and millions of people, you know, both in the States, all over the world. And she has like dancing, and she's got the guys dancing behind her, and she's doing all sorts of fancy stuff, and she's in her beautiful outfit and the whole deal. And what happens is the lip sync, the technical part, doesn't line up, and there's some kind of glitch. And so here she is, she's lip syncing, and all of a sudden the audio is not doing what it should be doing. So you can imagine if that was you, what would you be doing? Well, what does she do? She freaks out, right? And it's all over Facebook, and she freaks out. She tries to kind of get through it. She tries to talk a little bit and this and that, and then she basically has kind of a meltdown and ends up, leaving the stage. So, deep breath for Mariah Carey. I mean, what a horrible thing to have happened. But what I want you to think about is how often does something like this happen in your business where things don't go as planned? This past month in December, I was doing live streams about helping you set goals and visions and all that of what you want to create. But understand, stuff is going to happen. I'll bet you anything. This was a big, huge dream of hers to be on this, have this exposure, to be in front of millions and millions of people, and then to have this thing happen. I mean, that totally reeks, right? So I want you to just think about where in your business, even just in the last few days, the past week, where you've tried to do something and something hasn't gone as planned. Now, I can name many times for me that things haven't gone as planned. I mean, geez, even I think it was last Friday or something, I was sending out emails, part of a strategy, and it was a technical glitch. All of a sudden, all these emails were going to my list that shouldn't have been going, and it was craziness. But stuff like that happens. So think about it. How do you typically react when that happens? I had a boss years ago that when things didn't go his way, he would go in his office and he'd have whoever he was choosing to yell at. Luckily, it was never me, but it was usually one of his support people. And the door would get closed and you'd hear him screaming all over the office. That's how he dealt with it. Mariah Carey, ends up having a meltdown and storming off stage. So how do you think? Just take a moment and think about that. When things don't go as you want, do you use your own version of storming off stage? Do you yell at somebody? Do you cry? Do you swear? Do you throw something? Do you, go off by yourself? Do you say to yourself, like, this wasn't meant to be? I mean, what do you do? So just think about that for a moment. And I'm just going to put my glasses on and just make sure this is all going as it should be. So, which I believe it is. So think about that, because like I said, this happened to Mariah and it's all over the news and all that, but understand we all have these happening on a smaller level, on daily basis of things just not going as planned. Some are bigger than others, but understand that how you react, how you respond is going to affect what happens next, okay? So for example, with Mariah Carey storming off stage at some point, is now going to be a bigger after effect. Right now she's sitting there and blaming saying the Dick Clark productions sabotaged her performance. I don't know if they did or didn't, but I'm just saying that's what she's saying. So now it's even bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So how do you do it? Like when this happened with me with the emails, I sent an email to my list apologizing, just a short, quick thing saying like, hey guys, sorry, it's technology. I apologize. I value, this is not how I was intending on doing things. But think about when stuff like that happens, do you sit there and say like, how do you deal with it? Because if you sit there and let that affect you and go into meltdown stage, or you go into like how my former boss did, who'd yell and scream. Luckily, he was only my boss for a really short time, but I mean, when you do something like that, there's more serious repercussions. And I need you to understand that things are always going to happen, because the more you go for growth in your business, the more you're going to have things that are happening that are uncomfortable to you. Okay? And that means newer things, things that are maybe less out of your control. Maybe there's more people involved. Maybe there's more technology involved. Things that you can't always predict what will happen. So things like this are a bit more likely to happen. Doesn't matter what your level. I happen to talk to my coach, and she's like, hey, I can tell you about multi-million dollar coaches who have this happening too. I mean, so it happens, but it's how you deal with it that makes a difference in what happens next. So does everybody get that? And if you're there listening, just like type in something saying, yep, it's happened to me the last week, or yep, I get it, or yep, I've had a meltdown, or just type in something so I know this is all resonating with all of you. And let's see, I'm going to just take a sip of my smoothie. Because what you want to understand is that if you pull a Mariah Carey, you're going to have to deal with it a whole lot longer. And I want to show you another way of dealing with it. So when things do happen, because they will, unless you're keeping your business static and you don't want any growth, but if you do want growth, this is what's going to happen. And so what I call it is the freak out zone. In my proprietary system, that's one of the steps. It's the freak out zone. And the thing is that this is when all the scary shit happens, right? But if you don't get the support, if you don't get the help to go through it, you're going to stay stuck and more likely go back to where you were and say to yourself in some form, like, see, never should have done it, right? So let's see. So I want you to just kind of think about that for a moment, because right now, I mean, poor Mariah Carey, everybody's talking about her, right? And maybe they're, again, I'm not being Monday morning quarterback saying I would have done this or that or whatever. I only want to give you some preventative things, because being the dentist's daughter, I want to share with you how when something like that happens, when you have your own technical malfunction, that you'll be able to deal with it a little bit differently. So I see somebody just posted something. Ooh. Yep, and Donna posted that it's happened at least a half a dozen times. Donna, it's just the beginning, because every time you grow and want to grow, more things are going to happen. And this is really what separates people who are successful and not successful, because the people who end up not being successful, they somehow rationalize, they convince themselves that, see, this was never meant to be, never should have done it, never should have tried that resource, never should have whatever, and they go back to where they were. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to just do a real quick round of tapping just to kind of help you. This is something that maybe, so if just to kind of let you know that this is going to happen, and just a way of dealing with it. Because what you want to do is when something like this happens, as much as you can't always, right? Because if you're obviously on stage, it's going to be a little bit different. You have to really trust your gut, trust your instincts, get grounded, right? And that's, I think, that's the only thing I kind of would say to Mariah Carey, if I could, is that she wasn't really grounded. And if you can ground yourself back, which is really hard, I'm not saying I could do any better. So trust me, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that in retrospect, when things happen like this, you want to be able to ground yourself, to know that you are fine, that you are safe, okay? For no matter what it is, whether it's a technology glitch, whether it's the computer's not working, whether somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do on your team, whatever the heck it might be, you want to be able to ground yourself as fast as possible. And know that no matter what happens, it's going to be fine. Because I'll guarantee you, the thing that happened to me Friday with the emails, I'm not going to remember it 2 weeks from now. I won't. Because there's other stuff that happens, because I was able to kind of ground myself, deal with it, move on. And that's what I want to help all of you do, because the more you're able to do that, the more you're able to have more success in your business. So I want to do a real quick round of tapping with you before we go today. And again, please share your comments. Let me know that this is resonating and this is helpful, so I know for future things. And tapping, if you've never done it, I don't have time to go to a huge long explanation, but it's just a really, really powerful mindset technique that really helps you shift and release old negative thoughts, old stories, old behaviors, old patterns, all sorts of things that keep you stuck. And it can be used in so many different ways. And what I'm sharing with you today is just a way to kind of help you kind of being preventative. Because again, being the dentist's daughter, I like to teach things that are preventative and help you move forward that way. And what it is in a nutshell, is a little bit like Simon says, that you say what I say and you tap where you see me tap. It's meant to be a very gentle technique. If for some reason it bothers you, I suggest you stop, because obviously over live stream I can't have that conversation with you and find out what's going on. Tapping generally makes people feel better. But often what may happen is other things may pop up for you, other thoughts, and that's really good. It's just like a red flag saying, hey, pay attention to me, you need to work on this. So if things pop up, write them down. Those are things you want to get some help from, whether it's from me, whether it's from your coach, or if you don't have a coach, talk to me about being your coach, whatever it is to help you move forward. So take a couple of nice deep breaths, and we're going to just do a really basic round of tapping, and I'll take a sip of my green smoothie. And for those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about what happened with Mariah Carey and her meltdown and walking off stage, and how things like that on probably a smaller level happen on a much regular basis to you in your business, and really how to work through that. So again, we're just going to do some really basic tapping. So we're just going to go to a single karate chop, and again, just follow along with me. So even though, and just repeat after me, I have this fear and doubt. I don't know what to do when things pop up that I didn't plan on, and it scares me. I want to find a way to love and accept myself. And then continue, keep tapping where I'm tapping, and repeat after me. Even though it scares me sometimes when things happen that I don't understand, I don't know how to control them, I want to find a way to love and accept myself. Even though it can be very scary when things happen that I don't understand, I want to find a way to love and accept myself, and accept all my feelings. Okay, so shake your hands out, and we're going to move through the points on the face and body. So again, if you've never tapped with me, just follow along with us. And if you have tapped before, you're probably in for a real treat, because I tap a bit differently than most. Okay, so we're going to use both hands. So, and just repeat after me as we're on these points. It feels really scary. It's scary to think of things happening that I don't understand. And then under the eye, things that I can't control. And then under the nose, things that I don't expect. Chin point, things that I wasn't planning on. Then collarbone, things that I don't know how to change. And then underarm, things that I've never seen before. Then your liver point, I apologize, you can't see this on the screen, but it's a liver point, things that I don't really know how to deal with. Wrist point, it scares me. Top of the head, it makes me wonder if I'm doing the right things. Then inner eye, I want to acknowledge that these things can be scary sometimes. Outer eye, and it doesn't mean I have to like them. Under eye, also doesn't mean that they're permanent situations. Under nose, I can realize it's just a temporary situation. Chin point, it's not going to last forever and ever. Collarbone, I can get the help and support I need. Underarm, from my mentor, from my team. Liver point, whoever can help me. Wrist arms, and most importantly, to understand. And then top of the head, and know I am safe. Okay, everyone, take a nice deep breath. Put my glasses on, I see a whole bunch of comments, and you should be feeling really good. because tapping helps release any stress, starts releasing negative emotions. Understand too that as we're tapping, things may pop up, and I want you to write those down. Those are things that you need to get cleared up. So it could be, you could have things pop up like, but maybe I don't plan enough, or maybe I didn't give myself enough time, or maybe all these different thoughts. That's cool. Write them down. Those are things you want to work on. So I want to wish everybody a really wonderful week. Yes, Donna, we're off to Costa Rica, and everyone else who's joining us. And if anyone wants to go, still a spot for a last minute person, would love to have you. And so I want to wish everyone a wonderful week. And if you are sitting there going like, this is 2017, I want this to be an amazing year. Everyone's saying that this is going to be the best year ever. It means you got to do something different. And if that's the case and you're looking for support and looking to have new mentorship, I would absolutely love to have a conversation with you. Just email my team, info@katebeeders.com. So everybody have a wonderful week, and until we get to meet, be brilliant. Bye now.